Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I've created Magic and Miracles to help people of all walks of life achieve their manifestation goals. I've been on YouTube for 2 years. I'm a life coach for 9 years total. And upon coming to YouTube, I've created this coaching program specifically for YouTube clients so that I can encapsulate all of my expertise, all of my experience, all of my knowledge into a package, a coaching package that covers it all. It truly does not exist anywhere out there on YouTube or anywhere else. It's a 3-step process. I cover your history. We extensively cover your history. I'm interested in everything that happened up until now. And the reason is this: I need to know your beliefs. I need to know the ins and outs of your mind. I need to understand where you're coming from, your background, everything. No detail is too small. I really take pride in this process because it really does facilitate the beginning, especially when I get to know my clients, how I'm going to help them. What is the structure of your mind? What do you believe right now? And what I need to work with and change, okay? The second part is that we process emotions and restructure your beliefs associated with the past timeline that right now you're living on. Very, very important. These emotions are really powerful. Energy is the most powerful thing in the universe, and that's the energy that keeps you stuck to that timeline. There's no other way to say it. And that could really take some time for some people, especially with trauma, deep trauma, even childhood trauma. A lot of these things, yes, they do have direct relations with the childhood, but it can happen at any time. The trauma, some people have multiple examples of those. So depending on what you need to process, that's the time that we take. The final step is, of course, manifestation. I teach you all that I know about manifesting, and really just making it easy. A child can do it the way that I explain. I really create this environment for you to be able to finally get it without any kind of word salad. I really give you tools to use every single day for you to never forget how to manifest like a master magician. I teach you energy work, which really amplifies your manifestation to another level. And if you use it, everything that I'm teaching you and everything that I'm suggesting that you do in coaching, you will succeed. Okay, if you don't do it, well, there you go. You know the answer. I recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me on average. Some people have stayed longer because they felt they needed. Upon concluding my coaching, if you sometime later you feel like you need to tie some things up, little touch-up sessions, I have the package for that on my website. The link is below. 5 sessions, okay? And you don't have to use them in a row. You can use them however. But in the signature package, which I recommend, is the real deal, which I've been talking about so far. We meet 3 times per week via Zoom or via a phone call. Everything's recorded for you to track your progress, and for me certainly to take extensive notes. After I re-listen to all the sessions, sometimes twice, and I'm really deeply interested in everything that you're about so that I can help you best. Now, recently I've incorporated payments in installments. And you have that directly below if you need to create a link for any other product that I don't have down below, which is the signature for sessions, the video school, and on-the-go package. Please reach out to me. But all of these 4 packages that I just mentioned, they do have a link directly on my website. If you click on the signature package, it's going to be all the way on the bottom of the description, and it's going to say, if you want to pay in installments, this is the link for you to follow. So I'm making it really easy for you to be in my coaching. You need to sign the coaching agreement by hand to be in my coaching, pre-book, and reach out to me by email. letting me know when is the best time for us to rendezvous for our first session. And then we'll discuss and strategize how I can be of help to you, how we're going to structure this coaching, what are we going to work on, as well as the schedule that will be your fixed schedule. This is the way that I'm able to deliver the most results, by really being this intense, by meeting 3 times per week. If you cannot do it, the on-the-go package is for you. If you have any questions, please reach out. So I'm recording this really inspired, and I couldn't tuck it down. I started having like when I'm channeling before I record, especially the audio, sometimes the video doesn't carry as much channeled material because I write it down not to forget. I mean, I make some notes all the time, but I feel like when I'm recording audios, I'm more able to not focus on anything else other than the message, because when I'm recording videos, it's like I have to make sure that I pay attention to the camera, this, that, and the other. But right now it's just me and the message, and that's it. So the topic of today is from blocked to being bagged. Okay, so this is totally achievable with your SP. It's easy as pie, and I'm going to explain here why. So in the video, if you watch that, if you haven't, then definitely go watch it. The perfect magnetism of not giving a shit so much, which I thought was honestly the golden key to everything, to your success, really pulling back your energy and not giving a shit so much. So go watch that if you haven't already. But in the beginning of that video, I mentioned that, I started thinking about when I realized that I can see energy, and that I kind of like see the world in energy, not the way that people see it. And I'm sure, and I know a lot of my clients have shared with me the same, kind of observations, some of them more than others, I suppose. But, my story, and if you don't know, the short of it is that my mother was very abusive. I didn't know it back then, but she is definitely a narcissist. I don't care to change her, parenthesis here. But when I was growing up, there was a sense of not really feeling safe around her. And again, this took me forever to realize. And it was then that I developed my own imaginary world. So around that time, I remember like 10, 11 specifically, very poignantly, I would spend like a lot of time in my room, and I would write fairy tales. And it was around that time that I started making sense of certain things that have happened to me up until then, that I was able to see things that were not there. Okay. And so because of this, I made friends with the invisible more than, with the surrounding kind of circumstances at that moment in my life, kind of like an escapism, if you will. But down the road, I realized unconsciously, I did this, but down the road, I realized that this was me really prepaving a really great way to manifest for myself, not focusing on what is on the outside, and to be able to completely tune out from the 3D and tune into the imaginary world, which in turn proved to be really fruitful for me, because everything that I wrote down ended up coming true. And so I started paying attention, needless to say, even though, listen, it was, again, unconscious, but this is how I teach energy work today. And listen, since then, I've definitely perfected my methods. I definitely created ways of understanding and perfected, the way that you can use it every day. But why is this important? Because there are layers to your reality. It's not just the 3D. And I feel like, in talking to people on YouTube for 2 years now, I've been coaching people of YouTube. This seems to be like the main premise for a lot of people, that they're like really being sucked into paying attention to the 3D. And again, in talking to my clients, they would often say, well, it feels like I really want to control my reality. It feels like I'm out of control. My intrusive thoughts, like this is the majority of the people, by the way, my intrusive thoughts wouldn't let me go there. And so I want to say to you, like, I used to be this person that would not, catch a break with her intrusive thoughts. That used to be very much, myself when, I was, I don't know, 20, 21, all the way up until age 27, when I finally, like, if you want to say hit rock bottom, but it wasn't exactly that, but emotionally, certainly. And I rediscovered for myself, rediscovered for myself that reality is actually layered. And there's certain, like, a lot of things that you don't realize that you're witnessing whilst you're observing what the 3D is telling you. And so there's always three layers to the reality. What it seems like to be, what the circumstances seem like to be, what they really are, okay? Because you're always referring to your past, so your observation can be completely distorted based on what you experienced before. This is why we process the drama, trauma, panorama, as I call it in my coaching. Your past, the attachment to the story that you used to live, okay, up until now, and not being the full magnificent version of yourself. And interpreting what's happening right now in a distorted way, not really thinking that you're free enough to make a different choice, okay? So a lot of you have had situations in childhood as well that were very scarring, very damaging, very traumatic. And so to me, a lot of people still reside in this helplessness of not being able to stand up to the 3D, or rather not even doing that, but completely ignoring it and zeroing in on what's not visible right now and what can be visible. So the second layer is what seems to be happening right now. So it's up to interpretation entirely, without resorting to comparing it to the past events. And the third layer is of course potentiality. So there's different potentials that could occur based on what you're seeing right now, depending on your interpretation. So in other words, if right now you're blocked, right? So this is the example I'm giving with this title. You're blocked from your SP. They're not talking to you. They're nowhere to be seen. Okay, fine, whatever. So in the past, you may have interpreted this as I'm less valuable, they don't want to talk to me, I'm unlovable, what am I doing wrong? So this is the story that you used to play before. And now you're observing that they're still not talking to you. If you don't change your interpretation, this situation will continue. And if you don't offer yourself the ability to tune out of the 3D, and in fact, controlling your thoughts with the methods that I will kind of suggest to you in my coaching. And this is so empowering because it does control your thoughts, because you are focusing what's actually there for you, meaning the potentiality that you really want to experience. In other words, from this point forward, you do have a choice which reality you will experience from this moment forward, like this very moment right now. You have the choice to step into the door of that reality, which will please you, depending on what kind of spin you put on the reality right now. And so this being in contact with this potentiality of this situation turning completely into your favor, and suddenly your SP coming back and begging you, it's something that happens entirely in your mind, I want to say. It has nothing to do with like checking in with 3D. I would say, I will be as bold as to say, you don't have to refer to 3D for the rest of your life. Meaning you're not completely delusional, you don't disrespect people, you're not irresponsible and this and that. But what you do have to understand is your barometer is within your mind. So if you're composing some kind of potentiality towards this relationship, that's the only compass that you really need. There's no need to check on the outside because you've already composed this situation in your mind. And realizing, by the way, that this reality that you're now going to be completely surrounded by, the preferred reality, has absolutely nothing to do with the past reality, your past life. In fact, you can live different lives in one lifetime. They're completely diametrically opposed. I'm the living proof of this because something happened to me I cannot explain in 2012, and I've talked about this already. I really feel like because I took the step forward towards really reprogramming my mind, really doing this work, the emotional part of it was the hardest for me because of everything that I went through and my abusive relationships and blah, blah, blah. But it was the best thing that I've ever done, with my life, quite frankly, because overnight it seemed like within months, okay, maybe a few 6 months or 7 months after intensely doing this work, I definitely felt such a cellular difference. Like on a cellular level, I felt like I was changed. I completely vibrated differently. And this is why I'm so passionate about doing this work with different people, because I know it's possible. And I know that it doesn't matter where you're coming from right now. It doesn't matter your situation. You can literally completely revolutionize your life just by offering yourself the opportunity to step into a different reality and become that higher version of yourself. Because all of you have this predestined reality where you don't really have to, work so hard, suffer. I mean, are you working? Yes, but you're working on the things that you really enjoy doing. Are there still problems coming up here and there? Yeah, but nothing so massive that you couldn't deal with. And ultimately, everybody in your reality that's directly related to you in your personal life, is completely in sync with your vibration. It's something magical happens. Like everybody gets the same memo. And I've talked about this. So it's the easiest shit in the world. Okay, really, it is the easiest shit in the world if you're disciplined enough. And if you offer yourself the opportunity to disconnect from who you were and allow this transition without, kind of like sabotaging it for yourself, to really understand whatever you will decide, the universe will support you. It doesn't have a preference. And so, therefore, it's completely in agreement with you. It's not struggling against you. So don't struggle against it either. It's just in a calm manner, in a calm, stable manner. If you could sit down and decide on something and stick to this decision, the universe will oblige. And not for nothing, but I realized this early on, again, when I was little, like 10, 11, that, oh shit, my list keeps getting delivered. Like my stuff that I keep writing about, it keeps happening. And it's like Sophie said in the live session, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it. The session I had with one of my lovely subscribers, Sophie said that her mom would say something like, "Oh, it's not all about you," and I was laughing inside, and I forgot to say that my mom used to say the same exact fucking shit, and and of course, it is all about you. Hello, good morning, how are you? Because this is your universe. And I'm not exactly sure what my thought response was to this necessarily back then, but I must have thought something to the effect of, I'll show you, meaning to my mother, because, she was, listen, the number one person that opposed all of my passions, everything that I wanted to do in life, badmouthed everything that, I wanted to be, and all that jazz, criticism after criticism. And so to me, actually, it was kind of like a boost of confidence, because I realized she does not think the same way that I do. She doesn't understand what I understand, nor does my father, and certainly not my sister, and nobody around me actually understood what I understood. And it was like this kind of like secret agreement, I thought, between me and God. Back then it was God, at 10, 11 years old, it was God. And I was just like, wow, holy shit, bananas. Like every time I'm asking for something, it keeps coming true. Okay. And that's, it was such a amazing situation for me to find. Again, because of my childhood, because not feeling supported, my dad was not, he couldn't stand up to my mother for shit. That kind of situation. And I didn't feel protected, from any kind of like side. And so I found this connection with the God, universe, whatever you want to call it. And it was such a delight for me because I realized if I could make up my mind about something and I'm totally in agreement with God, meaning here I am, I'm opening up to God, this is what I need. This is what I really want to experience. And I trust you that you're going to deliver to me. And my trust and faith is going to become the fabric of my experience. To me, that was a really sweet deal. Now, of course, once you become an adult, all sorts of other things pour in, other people's opinions and blah, blah, blah. You know too much. But simplistically put, this is how easy it really is. Just convincing your mind into trust and faith and allowing this experience to happen to you. A lot of you are just blocking the situation yourself. The reason you're blocked, or the reason this is blocked from you, okay, this DSP situation, is because you're blocking it yourself by making it impossible for it to come through to you. When you're energetically linked to the new reality before it has happened, okay, it's kind of like give thanks before it happens. Well, live in that reality before it happens. And I've done this many, many times in my life where the whole world around me was saying, Anna, you are crazy. You are crazy. You are crazy. This is not going to happen. You're going to fail, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I took such delight in proving everybody wrong because I knew it was going to work, because the only mind that I needed to succeed, it was my own. So the only mind that you're working with in the entirety of galaxies, of a multitude of universes, okay, is your own. You're part of the universe. You're part of this godly consciousness that if you come into agreement with your own self, essentially, and you start accepting that, yes, your SP can come begging you. Yes, your SP can become in this way and that way. And I want to be always responsible. And I want to say always that unless they've been abusive to you, I do not support, salute, or, just I don't go that way. I will tell you this in a session. I think this is abusive towards you. My job is always you. So unless they were abusive, you can change them any which way you want. But if you're being abused right now and if you're feeling like they're, bringing you down and this and that, it's time to make decisions that are healthy for you. I'm just going to say it like that. So here's this SP that blocked you. Your assumption, like I said already, is that I'm not valuable, they don't love me. Well, that's just one interpretation based on maybe many failures in the past in relationships. But what if you can give it another interpretation? What if you can change your mind about not only this situation, about yourself, obviously, but about love and relationships in general? Just how does it happen? How does it work? A lot of you have preconceived notions galore. You don't even realize about, what it is you're thinking every time that love is brought up, or you see couples that are happy and this, that, and the other. Inside of you, there must be a mechanism that's saying this is not for you. And a lot of these voices, again, are the voices of the past that been trying to talk you out of the life that you truly deserve. You need to fire those voices. But we can get into the voices in another audio, because I have a lot to say about this, actually. Basically, my number one advice would be is to reinterpret the situation specifically according to what kind of reality you want to live. You don't want to waste time. You don't have time to explain anything to anybody. I wouldn't. You don't have time to dwell in this drama, trauma, panorama. When we discuss the drama, trauma, panorama from the past, I'm interested in what made you create this thing that you're living today. That's it. I want to understand how you operate right now, even though unconsciously so. But to dwell in what is happening now it's really not that exciting. It's not that informational. It's just the aftermath, the echo of the past that you've been living for quite some time. So it's just old news is all it is. So your choices then become quite simple. I'm either going to continue on this road, or I'm going to reformulate my thinking and expect things that I actually want. And thus disconnecting from this drama, trauma, panorama entirely, and starting with a blank page where I'm literally a new person. And this person's self-esteem, as people, or self-concept, like people like to say, it's an entirely different rule book. And the rule book is what? I ask and I receive. It's just as simple as that. It really fucking is. As long as you don't block it yourself and you don't start introducing the bullshit from the past that quite frankly got you into the situation in the first place. It really doesn't serve you to think the way that you've been thinking up until now. So the focus magnifies everything, you know this. If you become solely focused about what you think, this is why I'm such an adamant promoter of being about you. What does that mean? Only my thoughts count. If you become deliberately focused on your thoughts and your thoughts alone, you will discover the real magic of how this universe truly operates. Now, you can take counsel in, and I'm going to give you a little preview in what I mean voices. There are voices that are detrimental to your success, meaning the voices of doom and gloom, mama drama, panorama. In your consciousness, they're still fucking talking because you've been listening to that shit like maybe all your life. And then there are benevolent voices, okay? Like, listen, let's just be clear here. We live in an energetic world. There are energies around you. Even though you don't see them, you can call them angels, you can call them guardian angels, you can call them God, Mother Mary, Jesus, whatever. Whatever name suits you. Those are benevolent energies that are there to help you, to guide you, okay? You think you're so alone, you're never fucking alone. You really, really aren't. You don't have no idea how much help is behind you if you're benevolently positioned. If you are not, karma works every single time. I mean, what can I say? So don't fuck anybody over is what I'm saying. And it doesn't mean that you cannot, make the third party disappear. That's not what I mean. And this connection with the voices that are benevolent, the godly voice, the voice of your guardian angel, this intuition, however you want to frame it, you can really have access to so much stuff in the invisible, the information, other people's thoughts, reading somebody's energy at a distance. You have a direct access towards your SP like 24/7. It's the easiest shit to maneuver their energy to your liking if you know how to get a hold of your own fucking energy. And this is what I teach in my coaching, because you yourself first have to calm the fuck down, okay, and really stop stressing out so much. This is not going to help you. And so we need to bring you down to calm and peaceful, really thinking clearly, okay, not being afraid, not really stressing so much. Then you're really empowered, you're really present to start really cleaning up your energy. And once it's clean, I don't know what happens. Like, just the person just clicks back into their natural self. They're able to make extraordinary decisions that support their dreams, and then they come out victorious every single time. Okay, but if you're not in charge of your energy and you cannot come to this agreement and trust with the invisible that is helping you, because listen, there's only so much that you can fucking do it with your physical body, right? This is the limitation of this earth. This is how we're kind of like situated here. There's only so much that you can do physically, right? And when you look at other people, it doesn't like make sense. Some people are doing so little and achieving so much. And this is what I said, you only need so little to satisfy the other person. You don't have to people please. All you have to do is be convinced in your own magnetism. And magnetism is a huge fucking topic for me. I don't know about you, but that's where it's all at, because it's not until you realize how really magnetic and powerful you are, not just your thoughts, your intentions, your energy. Your energy is literally like, it's the color of the world in your world. And so it isn't until such time that you come to this agreement that this is the power that you hold, then you start realizing, oh shit, now I understand what Anna means. Like all this fucking time on YouTube for 2 years, talking round and round in circles about the same topic. It's like you are the God of this reality. So, and you are the God to your SP as well. And so, of course, you're going to completely take this journey on your own because you are the God of your reality and place yourself from blocked to now being begged. Please come back to me. I made a huge mistake. I'm in regret, your SP is going to say. But if you don't think this way, if you don't allow this possibility to drop into your vision of reality, because you're not prepaving it with thoughts of being so powerful, you're playing small and you're hiding behind your physical body, pretending you're not God. When are you going to stop this? And instead you're choosing worry and fear. That's completely beneath you, as I always say. But just this audio is to even start explaining, because I've been meaning to always explain how I see the world. And the world that I see in the physical is just even like not even 1% of what I see energetically. And I think a lot of you will, kind of like resonate. Some of you see energy, some of you are intuitives, you pick up stuff and all this kind of stuff, and you understand the empath. We're gifted like that in this department. So do that more and not stress on the 3D, because the 3D is truly your slave. It doesn't have a preference. It's like you're the boss of the reality and the 3D is the employee. That's what the fuck is happening. So you have to be a good boss and give good instructions, give good, curriculum or whatever, and then know that your 3D will morph into whatever the fuck you want it to morph, even overnight. But again, this journey is happening entirely in your mind, 100%, that you can accept that they can beg you. Yes, even after, they blocked you, and you don't hold on to that resentment. You don't hold on to the old story, because you know this will not serve you whatsoever to move on into the fairy tale of your life. And that's the kind of fucking power that you really have if you want to bring this person back. And a lot of you, I know you do, but it's an inside job. This whole magicianship, this, master magicianship is a lonely project of the inside job. But the benefits are obvious, right? That it is an inside job and it's up to you and up to you only. But isn't this marvelous? So I wish for you to kind of like tap into this feeling and realize that this is the gift that all of you are walking around with nonstop, like 24/7. The invisible is just like there, equipped, like fully stocked kitchen, ready to deliver any meal that you will request. And that's the fabulousness that you live in. So tell me, okay, from this perspective, that it's not mad easy to bring one person back and completely rearrange them. If you're giving them new instructions and you're giving yourself the opportunity to experience a new version of them, simply because you want to, simply because you decided to now live a different movie. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much for listening. All the information for me is below. Until next time, and we have the live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will post the topic and I will remind everybody with a post on my channel. Thank you so much. Until then, ciao, ciao.